Right, so can you guys now hear me? So sorry, I forgot to I forgot to make a bit of a setting there. So apologies, guys. But yeah, welcome to episode 26 of the live chat. As always, guys, this video is sponsored by the channel sponsor 3retro.com. Let's put it on now. Yep. Sorry, it's just getting used to getting all the settings ready. As always, you can purchase the link in the description below. You can purchase some of the gear that's up here, along with Admiral and Umbro, Clout and Blue track jackets, polo shirts, sweatshirts and t-shirts. So go check those out. Any purchases made through the link in the description below, the commission that the channel would normally be getting, I'll be sending directly on to Iron Supporting Food Bank. So again, apologies, guys, but as you know, whenever I have a new bit of kit, things go weird. You know, you guys all know that, sadly. But yeah, I hope you're all keeping okay and everybody's fit and everyone's fit and well. So let's have a look to see who's in the chat. Andy, Milesy, good evening. Rick, good evening. Jake, good evening. Who else is here? Mark, Eden. Yeah, so yeah, and Richard Cox as well. Welcome. Good to see you all, guys. So Barmy's, as I said, I'm using a brand new camera now. Which you guys will be able to see tomorrow when the preview for the Man City game goes up. This is also being used as my webcam, so hopefully, fingers crossed, this is the last piece of equipment I'm ever gonna buy. I've spent so much freaking money on this over the last year or so. It's been incredible. Bought a new PC. This is the one over the last 3 years of me doing it. I've gone through 3 computers. I've gone through 1, 2. This is the third camera, 2 webcams. It's massively expensive to get everything. Kent, good evening, mate. Hope you're all right. Kieran says good evening or good morning. Richard says I look a lot younger. It's probably because I haven't had my hair cut properly, mate. That's why. But yeah. So let's go through everything that's happened over the last 7 days. It's been quite a lot, to be honest with you. It's quite a lot. Now, of course, we can't start this conversation really without acknowledging what happened 28 years ago today. We lost one of the most talented footballers that the nation and West Ham and Fulham have ever seen. Bobby Moore. Really sad. Really sad to hear. You know, it's always a horrible feeling today. Always is, especially bearing in mind when we played Spurs on this fixture back in, what was it, 2017, I think it was, where you know, where we were holding on for the point, and then Gareth Bale came in and absolutely smashed it, and we lost the game in the dying minutes. But as I say, it was supposed to be a commemorative for Bobby, and that was quite a good game. But it's, you know, it's always quite hard to think when, you know, it's 28 years ago. 1993. Some of you guys weren't even born, especially bearing in mind that, you know, young Jake was just a glint in Richard's eye at that point. You know, and also John Lyle would have been 81 today. So that's, you know, so we always remember those 2 birthdays go hand in hand. And I'm sure Kent's going to let us know there was another footballer that has a birthday today. Was it Clive? I think it was Clive Best. Not Clive Best. You know what I'm talking about. I'm sure Kent will tell us in the next few seconds. But it is. You always have to start off with talking about the biggest thing. And for me personally, and for a lot of everybody, Clyde Best. Thank you, mate. Yeah, I said Clyde. Thank you, mate. He would have been 70 today. Yeah. So, you know, and Gary, good evening, mate. So, you know, it's hard not to acknowledge the passing of Bobby at any given moment, much less today. You know, it's hard. Ben, good evening, mate. Hope you're all right. Good to see you. As I said in the preview comment, mate, the other day, which you liked, I think yesterday. Congratulations on predicting the 2-1 victory for us on Sunday. absolutely smashed it in the comment there, mate. Really good. Kieran says Big Clyde Best was a legend. 100% agree with you. Ben said Bobby Moore should have been treated better after he retired. Completely. The only person that really gave him any chance is the man that we all can't stand at the moment and haven't for a good few years now. David Sullivan. He gave him a good crack at being what newspaper was it? It was the Star, I think. There was their sports commentator. So, you know, it's but yeah, should have been treated better by the club. Should have been treated better by the FA. Should have been treated better by everybody, quite frankly. The only person that really treated him properly was Harry Redknapp. They were very, very good friends. As you know, for all the hatred that we have for Redknapp aside, as a man, he sounds like a real gentleman for what he's done for people over the years. You know, it's Mark's getting all his shouts in, so it's good to see that everybody's engaging in the chat as always. Good things. You know, I always like to try and round things up. It broke earlier today that Reading and Leeds summer festivals are on. As things stand at the moment, we are getting close to normality, guys. We are genuinely getting close to getting back to our normal lives. We'll go through everything in a minute when we talk about things. You know, we will go through the lockdown in detail, because obviously, you know, there's a lot of things that I think to a degree a lot of people have not really paid that much proper attention to, if I'm honest with you. You know, there's a lot of things that people don't seem to be grasping. So I think purely because we're all pissed off with it, quite frankly. And apologies, Jake. There might be some more foul language coming in now. So Richard, you know, plug his ears up if you can, if you're both in the same room. Yeah, but it was absolutely incredible. Kent says, I met Clyde Best 18 months ago. Top man, a real top man. Harry Redknapp and Bobby were at Oxford City together as a management team. Yes, they were. They were, absolutely. And that's why I was saying about Bobby should have been treated better by the FA. I don't think that he was harshly treated, but you know, bearing in mind he was the captain of the England football team when we won the FA Cup, when we won the World Cup. And you know, I mean, obviously, you know, we know that, you know, since then, after he died, he has that beautiful statue outside the Wembley Stadium for it. You know, so you know, it's that. But yeah, as I say, Reading and Leeds, guys, Reading and Leeds. Summer festival over that weekend is going to be back. It's really going to be back. And even though I'm not a festival man, it's fantastic news. I mean, obviously things are going. If anything changes, then you know we will be. I'll obviously let you guys know, because that's the whole point of this weekly chat. I talk to you, you guys talk to me. I ask you questions, you etc. etc. So, but yeah, no, it is. It's good. I'm absolutely loving the fact that that's one of the first things that are being confirmed that it's coming back this summer. Hopefully, we will have a summer. You know, we didn't have one last year. Hopefully, we will do this year. Now, as a result of that, Heathrow have reported that they've lost £2 billion in the last 12 months, the highest they've ever lost since the mid-70s, when there was all that really hard kerfuffle going on, you know, with the power strikes and everything else. But yeah, you know, it's fantastic. It is, you know, I feel sorry for the people that work at Heathrow, of course, and I'm sure you guys do as well. You know, there's loads of people that are still being made redundant still to this day. You know, hopefully, I mean, touch wood, I haven't gone into that in any shape or form, and there's only about 4 or 5 months left until hopefully we'll be able to get back into the office. So, you know, Gary says, doesn't it feel great at the moment, even when it comes to fan channels, we all move around following each other? Hasn't felt like this before. No, Gary, it hasn't. No, because we're all coming back as a collective. This troll in the chat, you're going to have to do better than that, mate. Come on. I've seen you try and get Nicky. You ain't getting me, son. You ain't getting me. But I'm very well, mate. I hope you're doing as well, Ice. Andy Miles says, Clockwork Orange event at Chelmsford Racecourse game gone ahead in September also, so he's happy. Cool, good. Another thing. Johnny Dag, hello, mate. Hope you're keeping all right. And I just want to say, I don't think Yusuf put a comment up when I put this saying hello. So hello, Yusuf, to the Chelsea supporter that's been following the channel since I went on the Premier Hotspur TV channel. So yeah, but Gary, you're absolutely right, mate. Ever since I put a photograph up of the new camera with my mouse mat, my Twitter, the channel Twitter account has had loads of followers. It's ridiculous. Who would have thought that anyone would have loved such a random photo like that? But loads of things have It's great. It is. You know, as you can see from here, we've had a few new subscribers down here as well, which is fantastic news. It's always good to see that we've got always good to see new subscribers every single time. Absolutely brilliant, loving things. Gary said, I think we should have a massive meet up on the boats next season. 100%, man, 100%. You know, the miracle that I said that the miracle that I said that I wanted for me to have my renew my season ticket for next season is this close. We are this close. I said only a miracle will get me to give more money to Golden Sullivan next season, and we are very, very close to having that miracle. So, you know, we should have had you know, we should have had you never know. We'll never. Hopefully, we'll have a really good January summer transfer window. We really will. Kent said he should have just been able to give his name because that's what people do today. 28 years ago today, no social media, but every news channel was covering it. Bobby was well known and should have been knighted. Agreed, mate. 100%. It's the ironic thing about it. Nobody wanted to know about him while he was working and suffering with it, but once he died, bam. Ben says, great beating the Spuds. They really hate it when we beat them. I love it, mate. I absolutely genuinely love it. I can't. There's not much. There aren't many more things in life that are better than watching someone being all mouthy, giving it all large, like most of the Spurs supporters do, and then they get beaten in the way that they got beaten, and blah. You know, so we'll talk about that in a minute. Johnny Dag. Thanks, I'm not called like that, mate. I call you Johnny Five as alive. Whatever you want, mate. It's fine. Charlie Dobson, welcome. Where are we? Andy says, I'm still hoping we can get to the final game of the season. That feeling of match day would be 13 months if we get to go. Yeah, we'll talk about that in a second, Andy. But yes, you know, it is. It's hard work knowing that, you know, it's looking very, very likely. This is going off subject a minute, but it's looking very, very likely that Mark Noble is retiring this season. And if he can't do it in front of anybody, oh, it's going to be painful. It genuinely is going to be painful. John Dag says, I just hope to God West Ham win on Saturday night for you, John. Well, it's Saturday at lunchtime, mate. It was Sunday lunchtime last week, and it's Saturday lunchtime this time. So if you're around, come along for the watch along, mate. You were in for the last one. Right. So let's talk about the lockdown bit, shall we, for the minute? Okay, so I know a lot of people have seen this, and I know a lot of people are going to be sick and tired of it at the same point. But guys, you know, let's talk about it. So let's go through it in detail. All right. So stage 1 is in 2 parts. On the 8th of March, so basically Monday week, all schools and colleges will open. So it's not a phased return like they've done in Scotland. It's a complete carte blanche of everything. Bam, straight in. University students can return for practical courses. There will be a review by the end of the Easter holidays for all other students. Face coverings are recommended in class for secondary school students and also for parents and staff in primary schools. Now, wraparound childcare can also return for vulnerable pupils and where it is needed for parents or carers to go to work, support groups, or to seek medical care. All right. So basically, as you may have seen over the last few days, pretty much everybody into their late teens upwards has to wear a face mask. Well, it's just like from the teens upwards has to wear face masks, face coverings, however you want to call it. So, one of the reasons why it doesn't, little kids don't have it, is because apparently their immune system will process it a lot quicker. But okay, so but yeah, we'll have to wait and see as always. Now the next thing is to stay at home. Only leave for work, essential shopping, exercise, or medical appointments. Exercise allowed once a day in your local area. You can exercise with your household, support bubble, or one other person. All schools open with outdoor after-school sports and activities allowed. 2 people can meet outdoors to socialise, e.g. sit down for a coffee, drink, or picnic. Care home residents are allowed one regular visitor with whom they can hold hands. No household mixing indoors or outdoors unless in your support or childcare bubble. Non-essential shops, leisure and entertainment venues are still closed. Pubs and restaurants still closed, but takeaway food is permitted. John, I know you're relatively new, but we always cover this to make sure that everyone's aware of what's going on. Right, the 29th of March, people will be allowed to meet outside either with one other household or within the rule of 6, including private gardens, which is really, really good news. Really good news. The stay-at-home rule will end, but the government will urge people to stay local as much as possible. Outdoor sports facilities will open, including golf courses and tennis and basketball courts. Formally organised outdoor sports can also restart. As we touched on last week, grassroots football is coming back. Parents and children groups can return but are capped at 15 and must be outdoors. Indoor groups can take place for vulnerable children and where parents need the groups to go to work. Weddings attended by up to 6 people can take place in any circumstances. Stage 2, no earlier than the 12th of April. All shops allowed to open. Restaurant and pub gardens will be allowed to serve customers sitting outdoors, including alcohol. Gyms and spas can reopen for individuals and households. Hairdressers, beauty salons and other close contact services can reopen. UK domestic holidays away from home permitted with self-contained accommodation able to reopen for use by members of the same household. Children allowed to attend indoor play activities with up to 15 parents or guardians allowed to join them. Zoos, theme parks and drive-in cinemas, wherever the bloody hell those are nowadays, can reopen. Libraries and community centres can reopen. Weddings attended by up to 15 people can take place. Right, stage 3, no earlier than the 17th of May. People can meet in groups of up to 30 outdoors. Excuse me, 6 people or 2 households can meet indoors. Pubs, restaurants and other hospitality venues can seat customers indoors. Up to 30 people can meet to celebrate weddings or other life events like christenings. Remain outdoor entertainment, such as outdoor theatres and cinemas can reopen. Indoor entertainment such as museums, theatres, cinemas and children play areas can open. Performance and large events will be subject to the limits though. For indoor events they can be at half capacity or 1,000 people, and outdoors they can be at half capacity or 4,000 people, whichever is the lower. For larger venues of 40,000 capacity upwards and up to 10,000 people are allowed to attend. So as we talked about last week, it looks like we as things stand at the moment, we will be able to watch. Some of us will, because we'll still all be, for those that are season ticket holders, we'll be in the ballot to watch the last game of the season at home to Southampton. Could that be the Champions League qualification, or could that be Europa qualification? We'll obviously have to wait and see. If I'm given a ticket, I'm there, guys. No watch along. No watch along. If I'm not, we'll do it as normal. Hotels, hostels and B&Bs can reopen. International leisure travel will resume no earlier than the 17th of May. Adult indoor groups and exercise classes can start up again. Stage 4, which is no earlier than the 21st of June. All legal limits on social contact will be removed. No legal limits on the number of people who can attend weddings, funerals and other life events. From April, the government will run pilots for events such as large weddings, festivals and work conferences. This will help to determine how measures such as enhanced testing might allow large groups to attend without social distancing. Nightclubs will be able to be reopened again. And that's it. And then it goes on about Scotland and everything, but I've waffled on a little bit too long. But guys, basically that's it. That's what's gonna happen with the lockdown things. It's going to be a long time, but it's not as we've come this far. We can wait and we can wait an extra 3 or 4 months, and we can get our lives back, guys. It is genuinely worth waiting for. It really, really is. We all have to be as pragmatic and supportive of it as much as we can. We genuinely do. but we will get our lives back, and that's the important thing. You know, I can't wait to be able to have a pint with all of you, wherever the hell it's going to be. I really can't wait to have a drink with each and every single one of you. We'll have a great conversation. We'll be brilliant. You know, the sun will be out. We'll be able to do pretty much whatever we want by June, July time. But as long as things don't change, as long as the figures don't change, which means that more and more restrictions have to come in, we are living our lives back, guys. I'm genuinely happy with this. Really, really am. Kent just said all subject to change depending on the virus infection keeps dropping. That's what I'm saying. As long as everybody is keeping, not on my wages, Mark, it ain't. Certainly not on YouTube wages. But yeah, it'd be great. It really will be cool fun to do it. But yeah, as long as everything is adhered to, then yeah, we're getting our lives back. We are getting our lives back. I think it's a little bit more in hindsight. That it was a bit harsh to say that, you know, because a lot of people were stupidly jumping on the bandwagon on Twitter, on Facebook, having a go at people that live in Essex and Kent and any of the southeast really when the new variant started up, because they didn't say it was a new variant at that point. You know, they've made people panic, and I said it before. You know, you have to give the right information in full before you start to the public. Otherwise, you're just going to get idiots blaming people for other things. So, even though, Kent, I agree with you 100%, you know, it's about how things are going to change. You know, it's how people respond to things. That's the main thing. I know that's the point you're getting at. And it says, do I want to sound like a dick? I can't see a rise of cases, etc. when kids go back. Just hope they take that into account. Well, Andy, you never know, mate. Stranger things have happened, fella. Stranger things have happened. But yeah. So that's my part of the government broadcast rant done. I just want to go back to what Kent said earlier. Spurs isn't my cup final. Isn't for anybody apart from Spurs fans, mate. That's the thing. I want to win every game. We have a cup final every week from now on, and that's how the players should treat it. One game at a time, one win at a time, hopefully. Mate, we are going to lose games. We are genuinely going to lose games, but... Sorry. Bobby. Yes, Rob. It was a fire alarm. One of my housemates was setting the fire. Ladies and gentlemen, normal service is now resuming. Hopefully they know how to fix it. Honestly, it's ridiculous. I'll have a word with them later. Where we go? So Gary says it's more about the vaccine rollout. Get more doses. Hope hospitals not full. Simple. Completely agreed. Yeah, guys, sorry about that. As I say, yeah, the fire alarm is picking up the heat from one of my housemates cooking on the hob. So that's what's doing it. So anyway, hopefully everything's going to be all right. Mark, shut up. Gary says, can you imagine Barcelona at the stadium? We're talking about the London Stadium for next season by the looks of things. It'd be fun, mate. It generally would if we could. The proper claret and blue derby, wouldn't it be, eh? Barcelona at West Ham. Claret and blue derby. Claret and blue derby, even. Oh, that'd be brilliant. That really, really would. Where are we? So, where are we? So, where else is coming on? Mark says, burger alarm. Oh, for fuck. I'm getting quicker with the mute button now. I really am. Where are we? Jake says he sent me the link for tomorrow night. Yep, I'm going to be a guest on tomorrow night, so I'm looking forward to that. Thanks, mate. It'd be good to sort it out. Where are we? James Gooding, welcome, fella. Didn't see any of the conversation earlier. Euros will be quality if we can watch it in the beer garden, mate. Don't. It'd be fantastic. I'm really genuinely looking forward to that. Yes, Mark. Yes, Ben. Sorry. Yes, everything is all right. And he's saying, is anyone else getting hungry now? It's what happens. It's what happens when you have to share. Unfortunately. No, Gary. They're not Tottenham fans. I'm getting quicker and quicker. Well, but I didn't give them a piece of my mind, mate. It's as I say, there's heat in the kitchen that's setting the fire alarm off. It's not smoke, so there's nothing we can do. They're cooking at the end of the day. Do you know what I mean? Kieran says Barcelona have to qualify first. Yeah. So anyway, so let's go on to it. Right. So while we I'm not angry, mate. I'm just annoyed that I keep having to keep clicking it every few seconds. No, you're right, Andy, mate. Don't worry about it. Okay, so games for next month. We've only got 3 games in March, which I'm absolutely loving. So which is basically all games are on Sky Sports. So on Man United is 8 o'clock kickoff on the 8th of March on Sky Sports. Leeds is 7:15 on the 14th. On Sky Sports, and Arsenal is 3 p.m. on the 21st of March, all on Sky Sports. And as always, guys, we'll be right here to enjoy every single game together. Kieran, I'm glad it woke you up, mate. I know you're getting lazy in your old age, son. But yeah, it's really good. So yeah, all on Sky Sports. So as always, we'll be doing the watch-alongs for everybody. Now, of course, because of what was said on it. Because of what was said earlier, once football people want people to be able to return back to the stadiums, then the watch-alongs will still happen, because I'm sure that Sky and BT will be able to put certain games on, especially the last game of the season. They cannot, under any circumstances, the channels all can't not broadcast the last game of the season. You know, they can't broadcast 10. They cannot not broadcast 10 games. So, you know, Sky can do it, BT can do it, Amazon can do it, the BBC can do it. You know, that everybody should be jumping. Maybe even ITV. You know, everybody getting together, broadcasting the 10 games. It's not that difficult. You know, Sky can do 2 or 3, BT can do 2 or 3. You know, BT can do 3. 2 or 3. Sky can do two or 3. Amazon can pitch in for the rest of them. BBC might be able to do some. Do you know what I mean? It's really, it's going to be a fantastic thing. And it'd be anyway. Whatever happens, even if we have to use unreliable sources, shall we say, we'll have the watch along for the last game of the season as long as I'm here. You know, because I can't obviously broadcast it while I'm in the stadium for obvious reasons. Right, says Gary. Gary says Man City ain't got much rest time. Not sure if that's a good thing. Gary, you'll see my thoughts on that on the pre. You'll see the thoughts on it on the preview. Something that's going up tomorrow. Short answer: it's not going to make a blinding bit of difference. Ben says yes. There's an international break next month. Exactly. That's why 3 World Cup qualifying games. It's the Euros, isn't it? I thought it was the Euros, not the World Cup. James says, I'm sure they will be broadcasting them. Agreed. Kent says, last game of the season should all be on simultaneously. Exactly, 100%. And he says, last game of the season, if it always shown in the last few years. It's not always been shown, Andy, mate. No, they've never had every single one broadcast. It's never happened. Sky have been able to give you updates via the Soccer Sunday thing. Whatever it's called, you know, you can clearly see I don't watch Sky on a regular basis. You know, but that's the thing. It's going to be entertaining to for whatever, however they're going to sort it. James says that's because the Euros got delayed. We're in a World Cup qualification year. It threw me as well. Good point, actually, John. James, sorry, mate. I forgot about that. I genuinely did forget about that. Let's have a look. Where are we? Amazon really want to grow in the streaming space, but it's stupid for them not to do it. Says James. Absolutely, completely agreed. I don't think they'll be able to monopolise an entire week of fixtures, but the logic is that it should be short. It should be. The logic is that it should be. The logic is that it should be split. It genuinely should be split. John says, you've been up so much this week, John, mate. Well, it's only Wednesday. Come on. It's not the weekend. But I've just been working, fella, because, I mean, what else is there to do? Genuinely, what else is there to do apart from work? Mark says he hates international breaks. I watch the qualifier. I only watch the international qualifiers. I don't watch friendlies or anything like that. Now, all adults are due to be vaccinated by the 31st of July. And as we know from what's been going on in Scotland, the vaccines are rapidly reducing hospital admissions. Rapidly doing it. So, Jake, there's plenty of contribution of content to put up. There's plenty to put up. You know, you can talk about the England games. You can talk about how many games Rice might be able to might be in the running for. Lingard might be in the running for, etc., etc. You know, that's the thing. James asks, speaking of internationals, do you think the next World Cup being in the winter could cause a mental season like this year? Mate, that's a really, really good question. I have no idea. I genuinely have no idea what could happen. Because the plan was supposed to be that for next year they were going to be bringing this. They were going to bring the season forward a little bit to keep the international break going, so not to have too much havoc on the season. So we'll have to wait and see from that one. Let's have a look. But it could cause havoc, but it was not going to be much more havoc than what we've got at the moment. Gary asks, have you looked at the financials? They are out, matey boy. Said it's a lot. Can't work it out. Gary, where is it? Where is it? Because it's not on the official website. I've literally just looked as I read it, and it's not there. John says, Johnny asks, any news when you will get your vaccine? Not yet, mate. Not yet. There's plenty of time. I'm keeping myself at home as much as I possibly can. It's just the thing is the fact that I can't. I just have to wait. We're all on waiting lists in certain guises. So yeah, we're just gonna have to wait for it. Now, Richard Walton asked a question in last week's comments. He asks, how many goals, if any, do you think Ben Rama will score this season? That's a very good question. I don't think he's going to score that many. I think he's probably going to get more assists than he's going to get goals, Rich, if you're watching this. But I think he might. Yeah, James, I was going to say about 3 or 4 max. But I genuinely do think he's going to get more assists than anybody else. I really, really do. I genuinely do think he's going to get more assists. But having said that, you never know. He could get something against City. We've still got 13 games left to go. Still a lot of time for anything to happen. So your guess is as good as mine, guys. But yeah. So guys, let me put your answer in the chat as well to see what everybody what everyone would have. So give your answers to Richard. Let them know. Kieran asks, if Man U gave us Lingard and 8. Kieran asks, if Man U gave us Lingard and 80 million for Rice, should we take it? No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. I genuinely don't think we should. I really, really don't think we should, because at the end of the day, guys, we need to be keeping hold of Rice under any circumstances. I know, and we'll talk about it. Obviously went up yesterday that the non mouth of West Ham said that that they will listen to offers of from 100 million. So anything 100 million upwards, they will listen. That's it for Rice. But no, he's the stalwart. He's the stalwart. He is he's the linchpin for this club. We're trying to build the club around him. The club should be only getting things for prices for players that are available and then Rice isn't available. That's the whole point of 100 million plus is literally because he's not for sale. It's a hands-off price tag. I mean, for those that have been following the channel for a good couple of years now, how many times have I said when we talked about the transfer windows that there's hands-off price tags, and that's exactly what this is. £100 million for Rice is a hands-off price tag. So that's it. So we'll have to wait and see on that one. No, Charlie. This isn't the channel for that. This is where people are talking about a thing where people are interacting with each other, and it's not for vanity. But as I say, Gary, let me know where you saw the financial reports, because it's not on the website. Now, there's a really good thing that Rio Ferdinand said on his podcast the other the other day that's really got really good comments he said about Moyes. Quite interesting as well. It's Hammers News have quoted it as well, for that matter. So let me just read it up for you. He's, as always, Rio speaks his mind. I love him for that. He always speaks his mind. He said, well, I didn't like Moyes when I was at Manchester United because I didn't play enough under him. That's just a natural reaction. I didn't like him for bringing my Man United career to an end, really. It was down to him, really, and I didn't like that. But you can't do nothing but respect what he's done at West Ham. Jesus Christ, listen to the way he's motivated the changing room. A good manager raises people's games. And I think it's gone from the training ground giving people clarity, but also giving them that belief and freedom on the pitch. He's made some very good signings as well. I think Jesse has obviously been a big part of that. Souček has been a big part of that as well. They've done really well in the recruitment area, because West Ham in previous seasons have been laughable in recruitment areas. But he's nailed that down, and long may it continue. Listen, if they finish in Europe this season, wow, he's punching well above his station. It's a bit harsh. I think that Champions League qualification will be a stretch too far, which I agree. But listen, they're doing unreal. I think the big teams will just have that know-how maybe, and the squad plays a part towards the end of the season maybe as well. And then there's a few other bits and pieces in there. So, you know, it's a very frank comments from Rio, as always. And you know, and that's the great thing about it. That's the great thing about it. Gary, I don't care what Sean and Hugh have got to say. I don't give a monkeys. Until once it comes up on the website, then we'll talk about it. But I don't care what they say, because they're only going to tell us what the club want us to hear. You know, and this is, whereas I'm going to go through it in tooth and nail. Gary, if you want to know what I'm talking about, go back and have a look at last season's videos, and the video before, the season before that, where I went through the reports with a fine-tooth comb. I mean, I obviously didn't go through every single page. It was like 40 odd pages of it, but I did go through the bits and pieces where I think you guys would have wanted to know about, which is basically, you know, where the income's coming from, etc. So, but as I say, I'll be very interested to see if what they say on it. I mean, I'm not an accountant in any shape or form. I've been working with money and numbers for a good few years, but I'm not a trained accountant. But I can add and subtract. You know, it's not that. It's not that difficult to add and subtract. It really isn't, especially when we know what money's involved. So it'd be interesting to see because it'd be interesting to see what happens with that anyway. Ben says, hang on, let's go back and see what James says. Rice is the linchpin of this team. If we want to grow like Leicester, we need to keep our best players and stop being a selling club. 100%. Gary says, I want to get Czech players. They are workhorses. Not all of them are, mate. Not all of them are. But I know what you mean. We can't base a whole league on two people. Do you know what I mean? Ben says we'll be in. Ben says we'll be interested in signing Souček this coming summer. Ben, I'm not. I think you've misspelt that somewhere. I said, will there be interest in signing Souček this coming summer? He's an outstanding player. Well, he's been touted. He's been touted around for quite a fair bit. You know, it's Luke. Hello, mate. Welcome. Money saving expert. Robert says we need to be on the lookout for a new keeper, but not necessarily for next season. Well, it has to be for next season, mate, because we can't bring anybody. Because it has to be for next season, because we can't bring anybody in now, and there's no free goalkeepers available at the moment. Kent says about Ben Rama, 4 goals and 6 assists if Benny gets any game time. Kent says, I remember that you did the nuts and bolts of it and put it in simple terms. I did, mate. I did for those accounts. Luke, I hope you're keeping all right, fella. I've been loving the content you've been putting up recently. Very, very good. And obviously, likewise with Jake as well, if he's still here. Vicky McGuinness, hello, welcome. Yeah, that's what I thought you were saying. That will there be interest in Socek? Yeah, that's there will always be interest. Every club monitors everybody in the league. They all do. It's not announced, but they all keep an eye on what's going on, because it's not from they're not telling everybody all the time, because otherwise, you know, they're not going around and say, right, you know, we're watching here, watching that, we're watching here, we're watching that, we're here, watching that. John, I will explain the schedule to you again, son. Is the fact that I literally said earlier that the preview of the Man City game is going up tomorrow. So the patrons can already view that already, and then we'll be live on Saturday lunchtime for the watch along. Okay, was that clear? Because I've already said it to you twice already. Luke says he's pretending to like teaching kids again. Well, you talk to the camera like it's a little kid, mate. So you know, getting yourself in practice for it. John, I don't mind asking the question, but it's the fact that you keep asking the same question even though it's already been answered previously. So I'm happy to keep telling it, but as you can appreciate, if I kept asking you the same question, you kept getting the same answer, you get a relatively same sort of result back. But where are we? So Luke says, Areola or Johnson for goalkeeper? That's a very, very good question, mate. I would easily take either. I genuinely would take either. It's very hard to choose between the two. You know, I really don't understand why the club aren't looking at anybody in particular already and haven't been trying to sort something out in the January transfer window. You know, I mean, it's maybe because they're hoping that Fabianski is going to sign a deal. I mean, I know there's apparently there was already an automatic trigger of a 1-year contract. So I don't, but we'll have to wait and see. We'll have to wait and see. John, you know what this? John, sorry. With all respect, are you trolling me today, or are you just drunk, or you're not listening? Because you said I forgot what I said, even though I've mentioned it twice in this broadcast already, and now you're asking what the noise is when this has been happening. When this has been happening throughout the entire bloody video. Sorry, mate, but I don't get it. I genuinely don't understand what your deal is today. I really don't. Luke says Pope would be dream goalkeeper though, but you're talking big bucks, mate. They all will. Henderson will be. Johnston will be. You know, because the clubs won't want them to leave. I mean, Man United, we might be able to get a deal out of them for Henderson, but the other two, you know, let's not forget that Areola is on loan from wherever it is over in Europe. So, you know, so it'd be great to, you know, we're going to be subject to European values as well, and it's going to make it very, very difficult to try and figure out. But you never know what's going to happen. You never know what's going to happen. That's one thing we love about football, and why we love being West Ham supporters, is you genuinely don't know what's going on. Kieran says, I haven't seen a team spirit like this since '86, so good to see win or lose. Eden says, Premier League goalkeeper who plays in the first team is a lot and difficult to get. Agreed, Eden, completely. PSG, according to Kent. Thank you very much, mate. Ariel's from PSG, says James as well. Thank you, guys. Thank you very much. I genuinely couldn't remember who it was. So of course, you know, let's finish this video off by talking about the big result on Sunday. Yeah, let's talk. Let's understand about what's going on with at Spurs. Let's talk about it because we mentioned it a little bit here and there, but we haven't really touched on it that much. So let's talk about it. Spurs, your thoughts, guys? 4 points from them this season. Fantastic news. You know, we only conceded, we only conceded 4 goals. 5 goals, and we came out with 4 points with them this season. I absolutely love that. It's as Kieran has mentioned, it's showing a really good team spirit. You know, it was good to see that the guys mucking around as the band in the celebration. James says Mourinho is toxic. He is. He's not a good manager in any shape or form. He tries to play mind games, as we all know in the pre-match conference. It backfired for him massively. John says Spurs are not that good this season. Agreed. James says that Mourinho sucks the life out of great players. He does. He makes excuses when he loses because he can't. He's too arrogant. He's too arrogant to admit what's going on. Mark says 3-0 down and still got 4 points. Exactly. Eden says so good to beat them, especially as they were acting cocky before the game. They always do. They say that we're not in their heads for the season. Yet we clearly are because once the match week starts, fam, they're on straight away. Luke says, I just hope Brendan Rodgers doesn't go to Spurs. If Jose carries on like this, Brendan is the favourite for the job. Apparently, he was a favourite for it before Pochettino. Actually, from what I remember. You know, that's the thing. Luke, guys, I say this every week. I generally say this every week. Turn off your autocorrects. Seriously. Oh, it's mental. But yeah, sorry. Jake says we've defended like troops and we took our chances. Class finish from Lingard. Happy days. 100%. We are massive. Spurs are passive, says Kieran. Completely agreed. James says the only shame is that I couldn't mug off the Spurs lads in the office. I'm sure we might have been able to get away around it. Luke says, as a teacher, doesn't need has in there, fella. Looks teacher's so frustrating, make me look thick. Rick says really good win against for West Ham against Tottenham. Let's keep this run going. Gary says Gary asks what's happened to the Arsenal. No idea what's going on with that at all. But it's it's things have started to get in. Things have started to come. The balances are starting to be readdressed. Spurs are being exposed for what Spurs are exposing, I should say, what Mourinho is, and likewise with Arsenal exposing how unbalanced their side is after all. So I'm not taking anything away from what both clubs have achieved previously. But you have to keep that consistency every single time. Mark says Kieran started the Stratford rap. John Dagg asks how much would West Ham want for? I think it means want for Ryan Fredericks in the summer if West Ham want him to go. I don't know, mate. To be honest with you, personally, 15, 20 million for me. Luke says his Arsenal pals in work are broken men. I can imagine. Welcome, Peach. Here he is, the crazy man. Hope you're all right, mate. Ken says he's got to go. See you next week. Yep, see you next week, mate. Take care of yourself. Mark Inglis says my Arsenal pals won't in work aren't my pals. But yeah, it's been crazy. Gary says it shows you don't need a massive squad, just a couple more quality. Agreed, absolutely. You need a relatively massive squad for injuries, but in terms of players, yes, absolutely. And yes, Peach, yes. So guys, we've got a couple of minutes left. Is there anything you guys want to talk about before we wrap this up? James says, as you can say, it's consistency, and Moyes has us picking up points against the lesser teams where we would normally drop these points. Completely agreed. 100% agree with you, fella. It really, really is. It's definitely things are changing. Hopefully this change continues for a good few seasons, because it kind of does feel that we're onto something very, very good. Jake says you're closing on 2,000 subs, mate. I am. It'd be nice, it's great. It's nice to have some new people, people subscribe to the channel. Hopefully next week the fire alarm won't be making its interruptions as much as it is. You never know. You never know. But hopefully it'd be nice to try and get to at least 1,800 soon, because I've been trying to get there for weeks. It's been really hard to do it. At least the last 2 or 3 months, it's been absolutely difficult to do it. Mark says, now Arsenal have been finding positives in defeat for years now. So have we. But I know what you mean. Pete says, Armstrong and Tony in the summer, JP. I doubt both. I generally doubt both. We need both, of course. But yeah, I doubt both. I generally doubt both. Personally, I prefer Armstrong. We talked about this in January, in the January transfer window. But yeah. Where else of it? James Gooding says this episode should be titled Mr. Moon has left. Oh, that's brilliant. I love that, James. After the fire alarm at Upton Park. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Oh, mate, that brings back so many memories. Luke says he'll hit 2K soon. Content. End of the season party. Us on 3 Amazon 4K and you on 2. Mate, I'd love it. Mate, the only way I'm getting 4K at the minute is having that bloody camera. Because I'm not one to make content every single day. I haven't got time. I genuinely don't know how you find the time. We obviously know the reasons why other guys are doing it every single day, and that's fine. That's absolutely, but I just don't have time for it, unfortunately. Ben asks, it's not West Ham related, but what do you think of Everton's new ground? I've not seen it. There's been a few there's been some few diagrams over the years, but I've not really seen it, unfortunately. Gary asks, how long would you give Moyes' new contract? Would you be happy if you put some money into bringing the club into this 20th century? Gary, I'd give him a 2-year deal. I generally 2 or 3 year deal. But as I say, it's got nothing to do with Moyes. It's Sullivan that signs the paychecks, remember? He's the one that needs to give the money out. Kieran says, John Lyle always said consistency was the key, and Moyes is achieving that. 100% agreed. Luke says he films them on the weekend schedule release. I've tried it. I did that with the 12 Days of Christmas, the West Ham Christmas before last. But as I say, it's during the normal time, mate. I generally don't know. Most of my time is spent researching stuff for the content I'm already doing. I haven't got time to go through on top of that, unfortunately. But yeah, we'll end that there, guys. Hopefully, going to try and sort out what the hell's going on with the fire alarm. So, guys, thank you very, very much for sticking by us. Apologies for the interruptions, but it's completely beyond my control, and it's life. When you share with other people, it's life, unfortunately. But in the meantime, guys, please do hit the subscribe button if you haven't already done. Please do hit the like button if you haven't already done, and please do share this content if you haven't already as well. So yeah, thank you very much, guys. Look after yourselves. I say the preview is going to be live at lunchtime tomorrow for the Man City game, so keep around for that. And also, I'll see you lunchtime on Saturday for the watch along for the Man City game. But in the meantime, guys, have a fantastic rest of the week, and I hope to see you on Saturday afternoon. All the best. Take care.